Oh, jeez. I went and wet myself. I mean, I didn't wet myself, but...
Do you need to go home and change?
No, it's cool, guys. I'm still good to go. Oh, wait. Oh, no! I got my underwear wet. Oh, it's conforming to all my contours. Ah.
Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Comic Knight Zero, and today we're going to be looking at one of Cartoon Network's newest shows, Craig of the Creek. Craig of the Creek officially aired on Cartoon Network on March 30th, 2018. The show is created by Matt Burnett and Ben Levin, former writers and story editors of shows like Steven Universe and Level Up. The show follows a young boy named Craig and his two best friends, JP and Kelsey, on their many adventures in their neighborhood creek, a utopia of untamed wilderness in which tribes of children reign over tree forts, sewers, and dirt bike ramps. Craig is the leader of the group and the show's main protagonist. He's smart, resourceful, really cares about his friends, and is always coming up with new plans and inventions to help improve their home base at the creek. Next, we have Kelsey, one of Craig's best friends. She's usually seen wearing a cape and a cardboard sword, and is always accompanied by her parakeet Mortimer. She's pretty adventurous and can be overly dramatic at times, especially since she does internal narrations.
It could be a treacherous quest. What do you say, Kelsey?
Kelsey didn't know how to answer. She had promised herself that 4th grade would be different.
She's doing that narrating thing again.
And last we have JP, Craig's other best friend. He's the oldest in the group, has a southern accent, and usually wears a hockey jersey that you could tell is a little too big for him. If I were to compare this trio to that of Ed, Edd n Eddy, he'd be the Ed of the group.
Good morning, my friends.
Wow! Cool camouflage!
Wait, Kim? Are you going off to war? I always knew this day would come!
No, that arc comes later.
So he's not exactly the brightest of the bunch, but he's very kind and is always trying to help those around him. At the time of this recording, Craig of the Creek has currently aired 15 episodes, and I've gotta say, I've really enjoyed what I've seen so far. I think I would describe the show as a mix of the kids from Clarence with the animation style of Steven Universe. The idea of kids just hanging around a creek, it's a simple concept, but this show just takes that idea and just makes it so fun and creative. It's always interesting to see which tribe or group of kids we'll run into next, whether it's the kids who live in the sewers, the horse girls out in the meadows, the ninja kids in the forest, or even the teenagers in their little hideout. Great poster, by the way. I feel like these kid groups give some representation of a childlike state of mind that people can relate to back to when they were kids. I'd say in some form or another, we all had our little social cliques when we were kids, both in and outside of a school setting. Sometimes these groups are formed through the fact that you all share the same interests like sports, books, or even a collect-em-all card game. And this show really builds off the idea of just having fun with your best friends and enjoying the time you have with people around you. And I think that's great that the writers use this as a core focus to their world. It seems that another focus of the show is the idea of imagination, or, moreover, the suspension of disbelief. Similar to that of the Rugrats, sometimes the group will go off on a small adventure, which to an adult can seem like a trivial or easy to solve task, but to them, it's a very risky situation. And of course, should a small problem arise during their journey, they'd view it as a bigger issue than it really is. And if you were to think back to times when you were a kid, you could probably relate to moments like these. Whether it's fully believing some teenage witches put a curse on you, your friends are actually dying in a water balloon fight, or a hole in your poison ivy proof suit will literally kill you. All of those scenarios are left to a kid's imaginations, because if they didn't have it, then the show just wouldn't be as fun.
Time is of the essence. We have to amputate his stomach before it spreads. Bite down on this.
Oh, try to save my vital organs, please.
Plus, it really just adds to the comedy of the show. Not only does this show have its comedic moments, but it also indulges us in some scenes that are just so wholesome and heartfelt. Especially scenes with Craig and his family. And it's just so nice to see them bond and become closer together. These kind of scenes really make for some heartwarming moments. And let me just say, it is so refreshing to see a cartoon show where the main character and his family are black. It's so cool to see that he's not seen as a sidekick or a harmful stereotype. I love the fact that Burnett and Levin are bringing attention to the idea of inclusion and positive representation of minorities. I mean, it's no surprise, given the fact that the two were former writers of Steven Universe, a show highly known and praised for its friendly undertones toward the LGBT LGBTQ community. Lord, the script is right in front of me and I still can't say that. Anyways, it's little things like these that really make you appreciate the show, especially since they're doing it without making a political statement. You can tell the writers really value the idea of representation. I mean, this is very apparent based on what Levin says in this article by Fast Company. We saw firsthand how much representation mattered to people and how important it is for people to feel seen. And so when we had the opportunity to create a show, we wanted to make something fun that kids would love but also would have a positive impact. Well, Matt, you and your team wanted to make a show where everyone feels included, and honestly, I feel like you've done just that. I'm pretty sure it's obvious by now, but I love this show, and I wholeheartedly recommend everyone to check this out if you haven't already. It'll make you smile, it'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry. Wait, no, it shouldn't make you cry, that's weird. What if you do cry? I won't judge you. It's a safe space. But yeah, I really like our main trio. I love the comedic and heartfelt moments. The side characters are always interesting to meet. And to a degree, this show does have an established antagonist, the Junior Forest Scouts, but thankfully, we don't really see them enough for them to be a constant nuisance. In fact, I think I've only seen them like 2, maybe 3 episodes so far. I'm glad they don't take up a lot of screen time like antagonists from other shows. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing when shows do this, but I'm glad the Forest Scouts aren't, overstaying their welcome. But anyways, I think that'll just about do it for today. Have you seen Craig of the Creek yet? If so, what do you think of it so far? If not, are you going to make plans to watch it later? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd ask you to smash those like and subscribe buttons, but I recommend you get consent before you do. And with that, I shall see you all next time.